programme for government commits to universal health care, and in light of the announcements yesterday, one has to wonder if that is going to be health care by little middle aisle. The way that Minister Donnelly attempted to explain what is a U-turn, what is a retreat on the previous policy of at least saying you're going to subsidise antigen testing, to saying no, that the market has done it itself, really required some brass neck. Did the Taoiseach not accept that price gouging will still be taking place for those who don't manage to get the antigen tests in the middle aisle, and that what we need to do is to provide antigen testing as part of a public health service for free, as is happening with the NHS in Britain?
Just to remind deputies that the original question was about the programme for government, and to say that the key elements of that programme for government have been groundbreaking and significantly developed, and delivering housing for all is the biggest state investment in housing in the country's history. And I would suggest to Deputy Callan go to the Minister maybe with specifics, because he's adamant that local issue doesn't arise anymore. The accommodation should be provided. We have faced up to and we've responded to the climate and biodiversity crisis. Other parties haven't. They're playing politics with it. The government has decided to go for it, passed the law, passed the climate action plan and the carbon budget. And we need those who are particularly against the climate and are almost in denial about the climate to really come on board, because this needs to be an Oireachtas approach. Managing our country safely through the COVID pandemic, I think, has been a significant achievement of government so far. We've rolled out one of the most successful vaccine programmes globally. We've plotted the country's social and economic recovery. It's been significant since springtime, with unprecedented direct financial supports, and Ireland's largest ever capital investment programme in the NDP. And we are delivering and developing the most significant initiative on North-South relations in decades through the Shared Island Initiative, and we're embedding health reform and the lessons learned from COVID-19. In respect of bespoke measures for the entertainment or musicians in that area, the Minister has actually announced some schemes. We'll continue to work on that, and government will keep that under review in terms of more bespoke models to support those who may still be under pressure in respect of the current situation. In terms of Pete, let's be very clear, government can't break the law, can't advocate the breaking of the law. This was court actions, but people never tell the straight story here. The courts arbitrated on Pete. We have to, anything we do has to be in line with your EU directives and in your EU environmental law. But I've no difficulty in publishing the report, but the ministers are coming together to see can we get a resolution to this for the horticulture sector. In terms of Deputy O'Sullivan, the income thresholds, I get your point about more discretion, more flexibility in terms of the fuel allowance, and I will talk to the Minister for Social Protection in that regard, and other ministers in respect of measures we're introducing to reduce the overall levels. And the income threshold will be made retrospective to budget in the increase in that. But I know what you're saying, it's not enough. We need to do more, Deputy Devlin, on diabetes, very important issue. And again, I'll work with the Minister and the HSE to expand diabetes services, and progress has been made. In terms of renters, again, I haven't seen that article, Deputy Barry, I'll have to see the article before I can comment on it. I'm not finished yet. I'm going to reverse backwards, apologies. Yeah. Deputy Loughlin, I think we gave a fair bit of time to the defective block issue. It's a very comprehensive scheme. We did ask for very specific submissions from parties. Your party decided not to respond to the Minister. I do know it's central. The housing agency is central to the big, you know. And Deputy Kelly did raise the issue in terms of the Limerick mayoral office and election. And I would hope that we are working on the legislation. And I do take your point that it's certainly in 2022 now clearly has to be the time to get that legislation passed through this House and developed. And in respect of masks for 9-year-olds, this has been advised, it will be required. But it has been advised and it will be required. We're not going to regulate in law in terms of legal regulations. I think we've got to work with children and be practical about this, and children with special needs in particular. And also in terms of I dealt with everybody. I think Deputy Barry, I've dealt with antigen all day. But the important point in relation to antigen is the 136,000, sorry, up to 130,000 given out free now through close contacts, close to 100 odd more thousand, sorry, I'm wrong, 100,000 close contacts given out free, 130,000 for the food production and agriculture sector, about 22,000 in higher education, all freely dispatched. 8,000 yesterday alone in respect to primary schools dispatched free to close contacts in terms of children. And so there's a lot of antigen being given out free to targeted groups, which makes sense. And then in terms of the overall price range has come down to between €2 and €3. The alternative would be about €500 million if we were to make them free over 12 months. And I think we have to allocate and use our resources wisely as well.
Okay,